So in the last class we had discussion on the transport of food, in which we have understood that the transport in the case of plants, where the food has to be transported, it is called the phloem transport also, because of the phloem which is involved, and that process of transporting this food and other dissolved materials is said to be the process called translocation. And in this process, it is mainly the energy involving process, in the sense they are going to be responsible for transportation by utilizing energy, that is through active transport. Once the food is synthesized by the leaves, and that food in the form of glucose, and it is utilized as per the requirement of the cell, and whatever excess is there, that excess amount of glucose is converted into sucrose, and that sucrose is actively transported into the phloem. So that is the first step. So by active transportation, that is by spending energy, the sucrose is transported to the phloem. Is it clear? That is the first thing. Then secondly, once the phloem gets into the phloem, what happens to the osmotic pressure or osmotic potential? What happens there?
Hypertonic.
Very nice. That becomes hypertonic in nature. Because of it, what happens then? So adjacently we have xylem. That for the water from that xylem moves into the phloem. That is what we call it as endosmosis. Thereby this becomes a solution now, and that solution is taken to the different parts of the plant body. It can be the roots, or it can be the stem, or it can be the other parts like birds, like that. To the different parts it is going to be taken here, and once it goes to the site where it is required, where the sucrose is required, again through active transport from the phloem, the water is going to move into the, transported into or move into the cells or the tissues. So where the food is going to be utilized, the sucrose will be utilized, and whatever excess is there, that is going to be stored. And that storage can take place either in the roots or in the stem or the fruits or seeds, whatever the part which is available for the storage. And during summer and all, when the leaves fall down, you can see how do these plants get the food then? How do they get? What is the source of food for them when in some plants even not a single this one leaf will not be there? Then what do they get? They store. Oh, then how do they get that one? Of course they store the food, but how this food is made available? So in the same way, from suppose if I say it is stored in the stem or maybe the root, from the root the food is going to be transported to the birds or any part where it is required here. So that's why this transport in the case of phloem transport is said to be the multidirectional, or you can also say bidirectional, both upward and also downward movement. When compared to the xylem, in the xylem it is only the upward movement. So that is how the transportation, that is this process of transportation in phloem is said to be translocation. So then during all these, now we have understood different metabolic processes like nutrition we have seen, and what are the other life processes we have studied in organisms?
Respiration,
transportation. Pardon me? Digestion. Yeah, that is nutrition. Then? So, these are all the different metabolic processes which are taking place, the chemical changes which are taking place quite naturally. So along with the useful products, we get some of the products which are not useful. What do you call such useful products? The waste products. So we call them as metabolic waste. These metabolic waste are going to be toxic, poisonous if they are retained in the body for a longer time. For example, carbon dioxide we produce. So if you are keeping that carbon dioxide within our body, that becomes that is going to cause damage to the tissues, because oxygen transport cannot take place, the body will not be able to get enough amount of energy. Like that, we have so many other chemicals which are produced during the metabolic processes which are happening in the body. And all these waste materials need to be removed out of the body. Why should they be removed? Why should they be removed? What is the problem with these waste products?
Because they are toxic in
They
nature.
are toxic. Toxic means, what do you mean by toxic?
Poisonous.
Pardon me?
Poisonous.
They are poisonous. Very good. So they are poisonous. If they are poisonous, what happens then? If they are poisonous, what happens? What is the problem? Let it be there.
It is harmful for our body, sir.
So they are harmful for the body. These poisonous chemicals are harmful for the body by damaging the tissues or the cells or the organs. So what to be done then? What is to be done? So it has to be removed. That is what we call it as excretion. So that is removal of these toxic chemicals is said to be excretion. More specifically, we speak about the removal of these nitrogenous waste. So nitrogenous waste, that is doing mainly the protein metabolism. So ammonia is produced. That ammonia is highly toxic. That's why it is converted into less toxic chemicals like either urea or uric acid. In our case, it is converted into urea. In human beings and in the mammals, you can say it is converted into urea. In birds, it is converted into uric acid, which are less toxic, which can be stored for some time. So then how exactly these materials are going to be removed? What is it which is involved in the removal of these things? So that is what we call it as excretory system. What is that called? The excretory system, which is involved in the removal of these nitrogenous waste. So let us see in this class how excretion takes place in the case of human beings. Okay, let us see that one. So in this, this is the process of excretion. We know that already. So the excretion is nothing but the removal of nitrogenous waste in this toxic chemicals in the body. So this is human excretory system. You can just have a look at this. Okay, so wherein you can find this is the cavity, abdominal cavity. In the abdominal cavity, we can find this excretory system. Let us see. And can you tell me the region where the toxic chemicals like ammonia are going to be converted into urea? Anybody, any answer?
Kidney.
It is
Kidney.
kidney. Okay, then. So kidney is responsible for only filtration. So the toxic chemicals present in the blood are going to be filtered out, that's all. But the conversion into urea is done in liver. You know, liver is the largest gland in our body that plays very vital role in the excretion. So that is the one which converts this highly toxic ammonia or other chemicals also. So here the ammonia into urea is formed in the very important organ, that is the liver. Liver is the one responsible for conversion. Okay, the formation of urea take place in liver, But filtration that is present in the blood, that is going to be filtered out by using these kidneys here. So this human excretory system, so you can see this is the abdominal cavity which is present here. You can see this. So there are two kidneys which are present in this urinary system, urinary system we call it. Then our excretory system also we call. Then this is ureter. How many ureters are present? Two ureters, two kidneys. Then this is urinary bladder and also urethra. There are these are the different organs or structures present in this excretory system. Yes, any problem? Any problem? Yes, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So you can just have a look at this one, the location exactly where it is present. So it is present in the region of our abdominal cavity, just below our vertebral, just aside our vertebral column. Vertebral column is there, just aside that one. Just aside to that vertebral column they are present here. So a pair of kidneys which are present here. And they are well connected with these blood vessels. One is artery and also another one is the vein, main vein. So that artery is called renal artery and the vein is called renal vein. Then, so you can see these blood vessels get into the kidney from this structure, a depression which is there here. And from there is origin of ureter also. So from each kidney one ureter arises and that is connected to a bladder, one where the urine is going to be collected, that is called urinary bladder. And then, so once the urinary bladder gets filled, so micturition, that is urination, take place through the opening called urethra. This is the urethral opening. Okay, so this is the location of, or you can say the structure of excretory system. You can see this. So these are the four components of excretory system. So two kidneys or a pair of kidneys, and you can see two ureters. Then this is urinary bladder and this is urethra. And can you tell me what is this? A cap-like structure which is present on the kidney.
Nephron.
I am not speaking about the things which are present inside the kidney. I am speaking about the structure present on this cap-like structure which is present on the kidneys. Both the kidneys you can see. This kidney we have shown the internal structure, here it is only external structure. Have you seen kidney of any animal? Yes, anybody? See, this is the kidney which is present here. Yeah, I will just show this one first and I will come back. You can see this. Can you see this? Can you see the shape of this kidney? This is the real kidney. Do you know the animal from which we have got this kidney? This is collected from the students only. They brought it. This is the kidney of a sheep. Kidney of a sheep. Okay, this is the kidney of a sheep. I think so. If you visit butcher shop, you will be able to see kidney of different animals. Maybe of chicken, or maybe of a sheep or goat. Even in the bull and all, you can see the kidney. If you go to the butcher shop, this is the kidney. Yes, are you able to see the kidney?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
See the shape here, and this is actually eye. This is the eye of sheep. Okay, this is how you see the structure. Right. So with this, are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So then you see this one. So we have these four important structures which are there, which are part of this excretory system. This excretory system is responsible for removal of nitrogenous waste, that too here in the case of human beings in the form of urea. So these are the four things. And in the kidney, so if you look at the structure of the kidney, you see these kidneys are the bean-shaped reddish brown structures which are present in the that is in the abdominal cavity, just between the last thoracic and also third lumbar vertebral region. They are present here, and they are present in the dorsal region, that is towards the upper surface of our body. That you please ensure that nobody is speaking that. If you want to speak, you can speak, otherwise you please mute it. And each kidney of an adult is around 10 to 12 centimeter in length and about 5 to centimeter in width, and the weight is around 120 to 170 gram. And you can find here there is a depression, the notch we call it, that we call it as the hilum. Here we can see the entry of the blood vessels, that is arteries, and also the exit of the blood vessel, that is the vein. The renal artery and also renal vein are connected in this region. And you can also find the structure, that is the ureter, which arises from this hilum region. This is the hilum region. So in the kidney, there are two regions. The outer region, this is called cortex region, and the inner region is called medulla region. Outer cortex and also medulla. And in this you can find in the cortex and also medulla, mainly in the cortex, the structural and also functional units of the kidney are present. So which are nothing but the nephrons. So which are the structural and functional unit of the kidney? So nephrons are the structural and also functional units of kidneys. They are present in millions, mainly in the cortical region, that is cortex region, and then into medulla region. You can just have a look at this one. So this is the kidney, and one kidney is taken. Here you get thousands, or you can say millions of nephrons which are there, very fine structures. You can see the nephron. Okay, this is nephron. And this nephron is surrounded by the network of blood capillaries. This is the network. You see, what for the blood capillaries should be there? What for the blood capillaries should be there? From where do they get this blood, or maybe whatever the exchange is taking place between the nephron and blood, it is through the, of course that has to take place through the blood, and quite naturally blood vessels should be there around this nephron. And you can see the structure of this nephron here. In this, so you have to draw the diagram of excretory system and also this structure of nephron here. This you can see a ball-like structure which is present here, which is called Bowman's capsule. What is this called? Bowman's capsule. In this Bowman's capsule, you have the network of blood vessels, which we call it as glomerulus. What is that called? Glomerulus. Glomerulus, there is a network of blood vessels. Yes? Are you hearing or not? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is called Bowman's capsule. Then this part, the next part is called tubular part. tubules, kidney tubules we call it. So the one which we call it as the proximal convoluted tubule. Then comes, 1 minute, I will draw this diagram and I will explain this better, I think. So in a simple way I will show how exactly you have to draw this diagram. So we have in the nephron a cup, or you can say ball also, cup-like structure which is present here like this. You have to draw this diagram. Like this. Okay, this is the Bowman's capsule, and you can show, if you want, you can show like this. Can extend. Once it becomes, your Bowman's capsule leads to a tube, coiled tube which we call it. Then you can see a straight tubule, tube we call it, straight tube, it goes down, and then you can see just like a hairpin, you can see the curve which is present here. From here you can see the one which is just moving in the upward direction. And again from here you can see this tubule is connected to another big one where we can have the many nephrons which are connected here. So this we call it as connecting like this. Here there is a network of blood vessels which are present here. So network of blood vessels. So the blood vessel which comes here into this one, that forms a network of blood vessels which is nothing but the capillaries here, and this one then you can have the renal. So this is again, you can see we have this blood vessel which moves out of the nephron here. So this we call it as, here we can see the different parts. So this we call it as Bowman's capsule. What is this called? What is this called? What is this called? Bowman's capsule. What is the name? Then this what do you call this top down network of blood vessels? What is that called? Glomerulus. What is this called? Glomerulus. Then this blood vessel which gets into this one is called afferent arteriole. And we also have another blood vessel which is called as afferent arteriole. You can see the bone, afferent arteriole and also efferent arteriole. So here in this kidney, we are in the nephron. So one is the Bowman capsule, and then comes the tubules here. And this first part of the tubule, so you can see the coiled structure which is present here. This we call it as proximal convoluted tubule. What is this called? Proximal convoluted tubule. This is called proximal convoluted tubule. And this proximal convoluted tubule leads to a loop-like structure. So this we call it as the one which is going down. So it is named after the scientist called Enel, and this is called, since it is going down, what do you call this going down? It is decreasing. That's why it is called descending limb of Enel. Descending limb of Enel. Descending limb of Enel. And this, the one which rises up, is called, what is the opposite of descending? What is the opposite of descending?
Ascending.
Yeah, ascending limb. The one which is going down is called descending limb, and the one which is rising up is called the ascending limb of Enel. So it is part of the tubule. Then this leads to this Enel's loop. Totally together, both ascending and also descending limb of Enel is said to be the Enel's loop. And this leads to another tubule which we call it as distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule. This distal convoluted tubule opens into a bigger duct called collecting duct, to which many tubules, so many nephrons are going to open into. So this is the structure of nephron. This is the structure of nephron, and around this you have the capillary network which is going to help in the exchange of materials especially. And in this there are three important things which are going to take place here in nephron. So three important steps are there here. So the urine formation take place, So the urine formation takes place in nephron. So there are three steps which are involved here. There are three steps. One is called filtration. Then second one is called absorption. The third one is called secretion or reabsorption. You can say here. You call it as reabsorption. And also third one is called secretion. These are the three steps which are involved in the process of urine formation, and this particular formation of urine take place in the where? Where does it take place? In the kidney, it is the structural and functional unit. Ultimately, it is the nephron which is responsible for that. So there are thousands of nephrons which are responsible for the formation of the urine in this. So we can have a look at this. So this is the structure of nephron. This is the Bowman's capsule, within which you can see glomerulus. Then this is proximal convoluted tubule. And what is this part called? What is this part called? Descending limb of anal. And what about this? Ascending limb of anal. Good. Then what is this called? What is this part tubule called? This is called distal convoluted tubule. DCT also we call it. Distal convoluted tubule, and this distal convoluted tubule opens into collecting duct. You can see many nephrons are opening into this collecting duct. Okay, collecting tubule also we call it. See, so when the blood comes from the blood when enters into the glomerulus, so this is how the filtration is happening here. This is how the filtration. This is the network of blood vessels. Can you see the filtration which is happening here? Yes? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see this one? How the filtration is happening? This is called, since it is happening in glomerulus, where is this filtration happening? Where is filtration? Glomerulus. That's why it is called glomerular filtration. This is the first step. But this blood when it gets filtered per day, can it, how much amount of urine we are going to pass out per day? How much amount of urine is urinated by us? Almost around 1.5 liter. Maybe 2 liters, depending on the conditions, say season, and also the water amount we are drinking. Is it not? So here, this glomerular filtration gives us around 180 liter of filtrate per day. But how much we are removing out or urinating here? Around 1.5 liter to 2 liter. Then what happened? So we got through this glomerular filtration about 180 liter is there. But what happened to the remaining almost 178 liter of urine then or filtrate? So that is going to be reabsorbed. Whatever the useful components are there, all the useful components like water, salts, then amino acids, glucose, they are all reabsorbed. They are going to be reabsorbed by the kidney tubules here. Kidney tubules, the tubules in nephron are called kidney tubules also. That is, what is this part called? Which part is this? This is called proximal convoluted tubule, then anal sleeve, and distal convoluted tubule, as well as collecting duct. So all these are involved in reabsorption of useful components like maybe water, salts, amino acids, glucose and all. They are all going to be taken back. So thereby, by the time it comes to the collecting duct, so it becomes concentrated urine. It becomes concentrated. So you see from Bowman's capsule, that is from the glomerulus up to the collecting duct. So you can see 99% of the filtrate is going to be reabsorbed, where the useful components like water and all are going to be taken back. So that is the function of tubules, the reabsorption and secretion of some so like aldosterone and all, which are going to maintain water concentration, or you can say osmotic regulation, is also going to be done in this nephron. So you can see the blood vessels, the network of blood vessels which are there, which help in both especially the reabsorption here. Okay? Yes? Is it okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
Yes, sir.
So like this concentrated urine you can find here. So you see, I told you, along with the kidney tubule, the blood capillaries are there. This is the blood capillary. Adjacent to that we will be having, they are running parallelly. So kidney tubule and also the blood capillary. So exchange of materials take place between the capillary and also kidney tubule. Okay, exchange of materials will take place. So like that, reabsorption is also going to take place here. And this is another picture where you can find whatever I told, the same thing is there. You can take a screenshot if you want, so that it will be useful. So this is the one which is responsible for that. Okay, then, so what are the components which are there? Uric acid is there, glucose will not be there, amino acids will not be there, protein should not be there. All these components are reabsorbed and water will be there in the urine which we urinate. But there are some problems. Okay, any question on this? Any question on this?
No, sir.
So there are some problems. You have heard about kidney failure and all. Whenever kidney failure is there, we are not able to urinate. In the sense, we are not going to filter out the urea which is there in the body. If it gets accumulated, what happens? What happens if the urea gets accumulated? What is the problem? If urea gets accumulated, it gets stored within the body because the kidneys are unable to filter out. What happens then? Huh?
Blockage of ureter.
Blockage of
Ureter.
ureter. That is a different issue. If the filtration itself is not taking place, what will be happening then? So all this urea gets accumulated in the body. And what is the nature of this urea?
Toxic.
It is highly toxic. And you have heard about the kidney failure and all. If the kidney failure take place, then if they are not treated immediately, that leads to death because it is toxic. So there are two ways. One is temporary measure and another one is permanent one. Permanent one is the one where kidney has to be transplanted. Transplantation of kidney. So how many kidneys do we have? Two. Out of that, at least one should be working. If one is fine, it's good. No problem with that. So it's okay. So if both are not working, then one kidney should be transplanted. Transplantation should take place. But it is not so easy process. So that's why immediate measure is to purify the blood. How do you purify? What is that which is purifying the blood in the body? What is that which is purifying the blood by removing this urea in the body? Huh?
Dialysis.
Hello man, I am asking about in our body which is purifying this blood by removing this toxic chemical.
Kidneys.
Huh? It is kidneys. Kidneys are responsible for purification of blood by the removal of toxic chemicals like the urea. So if they are not functioning, then we have to go for some artificial kidney. So that artificial kidney is what we call it as hemodialysis. So dialysis machine, this is the dialysis machine. If there is any uremia or kidney failure, whatever the kidney related issues are there, this is the dialysis machine which is used here, and you can see the patient. So how the patient is getting this hemodialysis. You can find here, this is hemodialysis, how exactly it is happening. So blood from the artery is pumped into the dialyzing machine. This is the dialyzing machine, and this contains the dialyzer, a liquid which is having the same composition as that of the plasma except urea. Urea won't be there in the dialyzer fluid, and because of the osmosis here, so urea, so here this is the dialysis machine is having the semi-permeable membrane here. Because of that, nitrogenous waste like urea move out of the blood into the dialyzer, which is not having the nitrogenous waste like urea, and that is going to be removed, and this clear blood is again brought back and then connected to the vein of the patient here. So like this, there is in the dialysis machine the network of capillaries will be there, or you can say tubes will be there, and they are responsible for, they are semi-permeable, and the urea is going to be removed. Just like our kidney, they are performing the function. This is what we call it as hemodialysis. What is this called? Hemodialysis. Any question? Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Take